Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be in the company of former world light heavyweight title challenger and chief sparring partner, chief campmate to Jake Paul, Steve Geffrard. Steve, good to see you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, all the better for speaking to you and seeing you again. Of course, I see you in the gym day in, day out. I'm a McCracken's gym. But first of all, we've got to get into the breaking news. That is, Jake Paul will be taking on not Anthony Joshua, but Gervonta Tank Davis in Atlanta in November. Your thoughts on that fight?
Oh yeah, well, I read that it was an exhibition. I read that it was an exhibition, but it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy. I was hoping, like, I was pretty interested in Jake fighting Anthony Joshua. I think that'd be pretty crazy too. Um, as far as that fight goes, I thought it would be a cool fight just because Anthony Joshua, um he's already earned he's accomplished amazing things in the sport. He's won an Olympic gold medal, which is extremely hard to just even get to the Olympics is hard, but he's won a gold medal in the Olympics. Then he was a two-time undisputed heavyweight champion. So I think for him fighting a guy like Jake Paul, uh, he's earned the right to be able to do so. But now Jake Paul's fighting Gervonta Davis, which is pretty. Boxing is a for-profit uh, business, and I feel like that's gonna bring a lot of money. Like as soon as this thing got announced today, um, the internet's been kind of going crazy. Some negative feedback, some positive, but everybody's talking about it. Regardless of what people are gonna say, they're gonna tune in. I still have to like wrap my head around it. It's gonna look kind of crazy. Jake Paul, he's a pretty big guy. He's shorter than me, but a lot taller than Tank. Tank's I think about 5'5". I think he's marked down as. So yeah, I have no idea how to even picture that. I think it's gonna be pretty damn interesting. Yeah, I need to see like the rest of the facts about this. Like, what size gloves are they wearing? Is it 3-minute rounds? You know, right? Like, what do you?
Will Jake's mentality be any different that it's an exhibition as opposed to a fight?
I highly doubt it. Uh, One thing I've been going to camp with Jake Paul since January of last year, so about like a year and a half or so. And I helped him out for a few of his camps. I've been to some where I just went to work out with him. And one thing I could say about Jake though is that like he this guy loves to hustle, man. He loves to grind. Um, he has sick work ethic. So, and regardless of if it's just an exhibition or a fight, I think that he has a big presence, worldwide on social media and everywhere else. So I feel like he's gonna want to look good. He's gonna want to look great, and he's gonna take this as if he's fighting Anthony Joshua as well. Gervonta Davis is a beast in his own right, in his own weight class. He's one of the best fighters in boxing today. So I don't think it's gonna affect the way Jake is going to train. I think if anything, he's gonna train harder because he's fighting a smaller guy and someone that's as talented and as recognized and as good as Gervonta Davis is. I feel like he's gonna train even harder.
How do you square this matchup in your head in terms of dangers for either fighter? What do you think Jake will have to look out for from Gervonta, and what do you think Gervonta has to look out from Jake?
Well, uh, well, Jake is I mean, he's a big guy. He's like 200 plus pounds. So that's another thing I want to know. I wonder what weight class that he's gonna fight in. But Jake is, I mean, you could call him what you want, but the man is a boxer. He's a professional boxer. You could say he's an influencer, this, that, and the other. But I've been to camp with him many times. He could punch, and he puts in work as if he was training just like any other top fighter. And he has the resources to do so. He's training multiple times a day. He's got strength and conditioning. He's hired some of the best people in boxing to be around him. So he can hurt you, he can hurt whether it's a big guy or a little guy, a little guy even more so. But he can hurt you, man. This is the hurt business, and he could punch. So that's why it is kind of crazy. He's fighting Gervonta. What weight is Gervonta going to come in at? And then Tank, who's also another big puncher as well. It'll be interesting to see how that power transitions when he's fighting a guy as big as Jake. Um, I think like with Jake, maybe he might have difficulty hitting Tank, because Tank is pretty slick. He can be, and for any boxer small, if the punch down, sometimes that could be difficult as well. So it'll definitely be interesting. Yeah, I wonder Gervonta's planning on coming in the ring at. Yeah. So, like I said, I think Jake, it'll be with Jake having to fight a shorter, slicker guy. It'll be interesting to see how he can, connect with Gervonta, because when you're a bigger, taller fighter and you fight a slicker, shorter guy, sometimes it's a little bit hard to connect when you're punching down. And then it'll also be interesting with Gervonta. He's gonna have to possibly take some risks to land some punches on Jake, who's 6 foot in massive compared to Gervonta. So it'll be interesting for one to see what weight these guys come in at. I would imagine Jake would have to come down some weight, and Gervonta, how much weight can he gain? I don't think he walks around too heavy from his fight weight these days. I've seen a few the past few fights he's posted videos of his weight like a month or two from fight night, and he's been 10, 15 pounds from the weight class. So it'll be interesting to see.
So what about your prediction for the exhibition? What do you think happens?
Honestly, like I'm still like a little shocked that this is happening. Um, I have no idea. I really have no idea, because I have to see the rest of the facts. Nikisa said that there was the people that announced it, there was like not a bunch, like there was some misinformation said about the fight. But I think I have to see all the facts. I have to see like what weight these guys are gonna be coming in at. How much weight is Jake gonna have to lose? What size gloves are they gonna wear? How many rounds? How many minute rounds? Exhibition, they might not, like with the weights. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even make sense. It's crazy, right? This is
The other thing I want to ask you is, look, Jake's not a stranger to being the bad guy, the guy who's the heel, if this was wrestling terms. I saw him in person against Chavez Jr., and Chavez Jr. certainly was the crowd favorite, but that'll be amplified even further in Atlanta, given Gervonta Davis and his connections to areas such as, I know he's from Baltimore, but the favor will be firmly in Gervonta Davis's corner. How will Jake take to the Atlanta Heat from the fans?
um honestly, I went to the first fight that Gervonta had over there in Atlanta some years back, and what an event that was. It was like Black Hollywood, all all the big prominent figures in entertainment and sports were. It'll be any heat for Jake at all. Jake is one of the biggest entertainers in the world. He's been in show business since he was a little kid. Um, I think he's calming chaos in situations like that. I don't think it'll bother him at all. This is a guy who lives for the lights, the bright lights. So yeah, I don't think it'll bother him at all. It'll definitely be a pretty crazy crowd. I went to Gervonta's first fight in Atlanta. It was like Black Hollywood, like every prominent figure in entertainment was there, from the biggest rappers to the NFL, NBA players. So it definitely was a crazy scene. but I think Jake can adapt to any environment when it comes to, the crowd or the eyes being on him. I think he's pretty calm in chaos.
And you've been pretty calm in the chaos of, well, not quite chaos of McCracken's gym, but in the chaos of Birmingham, of course, moving over here to get your training done with Spencer McCracken Jr. Good to see you trying out different climates. It's not often that you see American fighters come to British gyms and try to pick up a few things, but the ball of momentum seems to have started rolling again on your career now that you've got a new deal and a fight lined up potentially. What is the current status in terms of getting yourself back into the bigger picture at light heavyweight?
Yeah, yeah. Well, with me, it was just a matter of getting active and stuff. And I was working on something else that didn't end up working out. Just typical boxing business. You never know. You gotta kind of expect the unexpected. And my buddy Chris Glover, he reached out to me. He was asking me because he kept on seeing me post here for like a month and a half, 2 months. He just kept on seeing me post that I was in Birmingham working out and stuff. And then he was like, "Yo, man, did you move into Manchester? I mean, Birmingham, the UK?" And I was like, "Oh no, man, I'm just working out. I was trying to jump on a local show or something." And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, are you still working for the promotion in Florida?" And he said, "No, he was doing his own thing." He told me a little bit about what he has going on, and then he told me he was doing a show with the WBA Arabia convention in Pakistan and stuff. And I was like, "Hey, if they have any slots open, I was like, look, I'll go fight anywhere. Let me know. And then whenever then we exchanged numbers. I went to meet up with him, and yeah, he worked something out. He's gonna get me rolling again. And yeah, I think if I get a fight or two, I should be able to get in the mix with some of these guys uh,
Any
that
British
are already
names
active.
on your radar?
Honestly, I have no one on my radar. I feel like I'm in. Beggars can't be picky. I just fight, and I'm gonna get active, and I'm gonna take what I could get. I don't think I'm in a position to be picking and choosing or being this guy, that guy. I wanna fight, and I know the phones will be ringing because when after I fought Joe Smith, I fought 3 times after, and then after my last fight that I had, I won by knockout, but I broke my hand and I ended up getting surgery, and I was getting an insane amount of calls for good fights, big fights, and I couldn't do it because I was injured. And now I've been healed and I've been good, and no calls, but also it's because I've been inactive. So I'm sure the promoters, they look on BoxRec and they're like, "Oh, this guy hasn't fought in 2 years. Maybe he's not boxing or anything like that." So I don't know. But now that I'll be boxing in November, which I'm way ahead of schedule for, I've been training for forever. I've helped so many people prepare for their big fights in the past 2 years, just nonstop, camp to camp. So I've been staying next to the sport, staying active. All I do is train, as you could see. And yeah, I'm just excited to get these two out the way, and then hopefully into a big fight, God willing, early next year or middle of next year. But the main thing is to get active and stay healthy.
Steve, looking forward to seeing you back in the ring. And of course, I'll be keeping an eye on your progress at McCracken's gym as well, too. Thank you for speaking to Seconds Out. And maybe I'll see you at Canelo Crawford as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be out there fight week, working out, sparring, doing everything.